Hey guys, it's Kristin. I am excited to do a video for you guys today on probably the number one topic that I think is important for people to dive into when they're starting a business, which is self-doubt. So I'm going to go into this, how it shows up, how it stops us, how we can work through it, and start actually taking action instead of allowing it to keep us from moving forward with our business. And I know you're going to find this really helpful because it's truly something that comes up for everyone. So for self-doubt, to give you like a little bit of how it shows up for most of us when we're getting started in our business, it's really, and I wrote a post about this yesterday, but it comes up in ways such as really like trying to talk us out of starting our business. So we start to think like, who am I to start a business? What if I don't have something good to offer? What if people don't like me? I'm not good at business stuff. What if I fail? I feel like a fraud. Like all those different pieces that come up for people. Those are really like the big, I guess I would say, self-doubt pieces that come up when we're starting a business. And most of them really go back to things that have happened in the past in our life, and they start popping up in our business as we're getting going. And this is very, very, very common for people, and truly like one of the big reasons that I help people start a business, because I think it's such a great way to actually break through self-doubt and, kind of see these things clearly and be able to not let them stop you, because they're stopping you in your business, but they're also stopping you in a lot of different areas of your life that you might not be realizing as well. Hey, Dixie, glad you're here. Yeah, if you guys pop on, say hello so I know who's joining me. And if you have questions as I'm going, let me know as well. So diving like a little bit more into self-doubt. So I talked about some of the ways that it shows up for us. It's truly like the absolute number one thing that is going to stop people in your business, because whether it's mindset related or it's action related, it still goes back to self-doubt and these fears that may be popping up for you. Hey, Crystal. So why this comes up? Like, number one, I want to let you know, like, self-doubt it's normal that you're going to experience it when you're starting your business. And the reason why is because you're doing something that is new and out of the ordinary for you, and it's something most likely you haven't done before. So our brain is automatically going to start firing off these fear messages, like the self-doubt message, like you're not good enough, you shouldn't do this, like what if you fail? Because our brain always wants us to stay the same, or to not really rock the boat or try new things that may make us feel uncomfortable in some way. And so the brain really sees staying the same as staying safe, like staying alive, like, I'm surviving. But it really doesn't necessarily, it's like a survival mechanism, but it doesn't necessarily take into account like your happiness and your fulfillment and, those pieces of thing. Our brain is really operating on like that, like caveman level of just trying, fight and flight, like really just trying to keep us safe. So everyone experiences self-doubt when they're getting started. It would be weird for you not to. So first of all, like, acknowledge that it's okay to have these feelings and to have them pop up for you. And then the other thing is to not beat yourself up about these feelings of self-doubt when they pop up, because what ends up happening otherwise is that we have these feelings of self-doubt come up, which are perfectly normal because we all experience them, but then we end up beating ourselves up about it and being like, oh, this is wrong, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or because I'm having these doubts or these feelings, that it's something I'm not meant to do, or I don't have what it takes. And I just want you guys to know, like, that isn't the case, and it isn't true. Like, it's perfectly normal that you're gonna have these feelings of self-doubt. So to not make it a bad thing, just make it like, okay, like I'm having these feelings, and you can acknowledge them and they don't need to stop you. So really, let me see, I had a few things I wanted to talk about. The number one thing, so I wanted to give you guys some tips, and like I had so many things that came up around self-doubt that I wanted to talk about because, like I said, it's such a big topic. It's probably something that I talk about with my clients, like every single time that I speak with them. It's always something that I'm working on myself. Every time I do something new, I'm going to experience those feelings of self-doubt. And I know that. And my business is always changing, growing, evolving, because I always want to do more, reach more people, like, take things to the next level. And if I don't, then you're just staying the same and you're staying stagnant. So really, like, those feelings of fear and that self-doubt, that means you're expanding, you're growing, you're trying new things. And like I said, so it's okay to feel those and to not judge them and make them wrong. But also to know that if you do want to continue to expand in your life and to do new things and to, see what you're capable of, that you're going to have to be okay with feeling those feelings and not allow them to stop you or totally derail you, get you off track. So let me know if that's making sense to you guys. And if you have any specific areas where you see self-doubt really showing up in your business, like, is it around like certain things that you're doing, certain beliefs, like where is it really showing up for you guys? So let me see. I have so many things I want to talk about. So where this really, the self-doubt like really comes from is, I want to say like so I think it's important to talk about like the story we have of ourselves. Like we all have a story about who we are and what we're capable of. And it's been created through our life up to this point. And to give you an example, like I'll talk about myself. So like I have this story, or I had this story and this belief that really ran for me, that like I was introverted and quiet and shy and like sometimes wasn't noticed. And because of that, like a lot of times, hey Chantel, didn't feel good enough or felt like I had to try to change who I was or like make up for that in some way to be noticed and to be seen. And this has really been like a kind of a long running theme in my life. And so this really showed up for me. Hey Amy, this really showed up for me in my business. Hey Laura. Yeah, welcome guys. If you have questions as I'm going, let me know. But really like, so I had this story about being like introverted, shy, like, not really noticed. And so this has really, it's run through a lot of my life and has impacted like so much. Like, in the post I wrote yesterday, I said I felt a lot of times like I've been like acting in my life, or like really like thinking about what I was doing and analyzing things and like trying to act a certain way or be a certain way. And it's like craziness when I think back to it. And, I've really let so much of that go. And such a big part of that was through starting my business, and the transformation that I've done through that. But you can see that if I allow that story to still continue now, that I'm going to believe that in my business that like I'm too quiet or shy, or, people aren't going to notice me, or really get caught up in the competition. Like, why would someone work with me when there's other people out there that are like more flashy or more, outgoing, all those different pieces that really popped up. And I did face that when I started my business. And it's really been through not allowing it to stop me that I've been able to work through those beliefs and start to see like, these are just stories. Like they're not true. They're based off of experiences in my life. And then I told myself like, I'm not good enough, or I'm inferior. Like that was such a big belief for me, like feeling inferior to other people. Such a big belief. And really like, I don't feel that way anymore. I can say pretty much like at all, but that's only been in the last few years and really through starting my business that has really changed. Hey, Rachel. And hey, Terry. Yeah. So Terry saying, she's loving, let me talk about this, 'cause I gave the definition of an introvert. So the thing about an introvert as well, like I don't think of it as someone who like doesn't like people or whatever, or like isn't good with people or wants to stay alone all the time or something. You know what I mean? Like I actually love people. That's why I'm a coach. Yes, I like my alone time, but I also think I'm good at interacting with people. I've always had good friendships, like all those pieces. But really, like, what I see as a definition of an introvert is that we are more inwardly focused, as far as really like being aware of our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions, and we reflect inward before we take outward action often. So that's why a lot of times we can get really stuck like in analyzing and over analyzing, analysis paralysis, like those different things, because we're a little more attuned to our inner world, and we usually go there before we take outward action, as opposed to extroverts are more outwardly focused and maybe act first and then reflect on it later. So I think that's important to know, but it definitely, I would say, impacted how I felt as far as like being able to start my business, and really in a lot of different areas of my life. And so so if you go back and you see like I had this story about this, and a story about it as like kind of viewing it as like a bad thing or that I wasn't good enough, then this really impacted and had me have a lot of self-doubt come up in my business. And if I allowed that story to keep running, it was going to keep me from doing what I wanted to do on my business, because that story was telling me I'm not extroverted enough, I'm not like out there enough, I'm not, that good with like interacting with people or getting them to like me or putting myself out there or doing videos or, all these different pieces. So I had to start looking at these different stories that have been running, like how I was acting and what I thought I was capable of. So I think it's really, really important that you guys look at these stories that you might have based off of like things that have happened in the past in your life, and know that they're not true. They're just a story based on your beliefs, and truly like the story becomes our identity, but we can change it at any time. Like it's not like all of a sudden I'm like not more introverted or something like that, but it doesn't have to stop me from running my business. It doesn't have to stop me from having like awesome relationships or getting noticed when I like go into a room or event or, whatever it is, whatever I had this story about. So it's really cool to start to see this, that you can start to shift that. And I think like this is such a big part of working through that self-doubt, is just looking at these stories and knowing like at any minute you can literally like snap your fingers and be like, I'm done with that story, and I'm going to tell the new story, the story that's going to support me in moving forward and creating the business I want. So let me know if that's making sense to you guys, and if you have any questions about that at all. And I want to give you guys a few other tips. Probably like one of my number one, or like one of the biggest tips I could tell you, is that self-doubt is really one of the biggest ways you can shift it. Thanks for the love, Amy. Is to take the focus off of yourself and put it onto the people that you're serving. So self-doubt, like the word self is in it, right? Like it's actually us totally focused on ourselves and focused on, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't know enough? What if people don't like me? What if people don't want to work with me? What if they say no? It's totally self-focused, okay? Like it's, so if you see this and you recognize this, like it's like, oh my gosh, aha. So, hey Lauren, so nice to see you. So really what we want to do is we want to shift the focus off of ourselves and instead focus on the people that we're serving through our business. Like we have a service to offer, a super powerful service. Like I know all of you guys are coaching people around like some major issue. If you're unsure what it is that you're coaching people around, like let me know and let's talk, because that's one of the things I do, is help you get clear on who you're meant to be working with, which is important, because when you're clear, like that helps as far as clearing up self-doubt as well. So I think clarity equals confidence a lot of times too. And now I'm getting lost on what I was saying, but hold on, give me 1 second. I'm getting too many tangents thrown in there. Okay, so shifting from focusing on yourself to the people that you're serving, because you have a super powerful service to offer. And like I said, if you're not clear on that, like let me know, because we can get clear on who you're meant to work with and what you're offering. And that's what I think, like once you get clear on that, like you're like, yes, like I have something super powerful to offer. And you wouldn't be called to be a coach if you didn't have something that would be super powerful to offer and to work with people. Like there's no reason you would get this urge or this calling to be doing coaching if that weren't true for you. So instead of thinking about, oh my gosh, what if I say the wrong thing, and really being focused on yourself, instead to shift that focus outwards to the people you're meant to be serving. And so when it comes to creating content, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to having sales conversations with people, I say shift from selling to serving, because when we're thinking about selling, we get into the self-doubt. We're like, what if people don't have the money? What if they think it's too much? What if I say the wrong thing? What if people think I'm salesy or pushy? That is all about me. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about myself, instead of thinking about, I can create this content, I can market, and I'm going to inspire people. I'm going to be able to help people. I'm going to get out in front of the people I'm meant to be working with, and they're going to see how powerful it is, what I have to offer is, and how much it can help them, how it can take them out of the pain and the suffering that they're in right now, and help them get the results and the outcomes, help them live their dream to be doing the things they want to be doing. Because the thing is, like, everything that we're helping people with, like, it's a big freaking deal. It has a big impact on people's lives. And so when we can shift our perspective from being around ourselves and what do people think of us, to instead being around our clients and how can we serve them and help them, and how powerful it is that what we're doing, it totally changes that. It's going to totally take away these feelings of like me and what about me? Like, what do people think of me? Like, what if I say the wrong thing? Like, all those things. So instead, just really focus on these people you're meant to be serving. Hey, Liz. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Amy, yes, like, absolutely. So do you guys have any questions about that? And do you see like how this works? Like, if you shift from focusing on yourself to focusing on the people that you can help, like how that's really going to help as far as that self-doubt, because you're no longer focused on me. You're focused on like the people that you can serve and you can change their life. So this has been huge for me. And it's always like, anytime I find myself getting caught up in these like self-doubt feelings, I'm just like, oh, like I need to shift from thinking about me to thinking about these people that I'm meant to be serving, and my message, and these people that I can help and change their lives. Everyone I work with who's coaching other people are like changing their clients' lives. And it doesn't matter what you're helping people with. I have people that, work around anxiety, around depression, around, losing weight, around, what do we have? Like so many specific health issues around cancer, like all these things. It doesn't matter what it is, like you are changing people's lives and you have the ability to do that. So just like always keep the focus on that and on the service, on really serving people, instead of, really getting caught up in like, what do people think of me? Like, it's so silly, like we all do it. So if you get caught up in it, like don't like beat yourself up. Like I said, we don't want to, make us wrong for feeling that way. But, it's just makes such a difference. Hey, Pri. Amy, let me see what you said. Amy's saying like, it makes so much sense, but putting into practice has been taking some time. Yeah. All these things, like if you think about it, like we've been living our life like a certain way for how many years? I'm in my mid-30s now. So like been living my life that way for like 30 years, whatever, 30 plus years. So to make these shifts, like, yes, sometimes it takes time. Some people, like literally, if you think about it, you can do it in a second. You can shift these beliefs and these stories in a second. Like it's possible. It's possible for us. And if you follow it all, A Course in Miracles, like they always say, like a miracle is a shift in perspective, right? It's just seeing something differently, and it can happen instantaneously. So it's possible. But for a lot of us, like these stories are so kind of like, stories and beliefs are so deeply ingrained that it does, for a lot of us, take a little time to shift them. So the biggest thing is to like notice when they come up. So when that self-doubt comes up, first of all, like you're going to notice it because it doesn't feel good, right? Because self-doubt, fear, like all these things, they aren't your truth. Your truth is that you're an unlimited, being of light who's here to like make a big difference and live your best life and be your best self. And so anytime we get stuck in like these fear beliefs, we're going to feel icky because they're not aligned with our truth. That's the biggest thing. Amy, yeah, so you love A Course in Miracles. I do too. I have the book. It's a tough one to get through to read. But there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And you know, some of the biggest things, like I said, it's that shift in perspective, because our beliefs and our story, like, create our life. They really, really, really do. And so they also create the results we get in our business. So whether, whenever we look at like something's not working in our business, either like we're just stuck and we're not taking action, or we're not getting the results, it always goes back to our beliefs in some way, because either our beliefs are impacting energetically our results, as far as, so I say this, like, let's say you're saying, I want clients, but at the same time, you're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not ready for clients. Like, what if they don't get results? That change in energy is going to keep people away, because the energy isn't aligned to saying, I want clients. You have like opposing energies going on. So either that's happening, or what's going on is you're like, you know, I really want to start my business, or I really want to get things going, but you have these self-doubt that's popping up, like, no, you can't do it, or you're not going to get results, or people are going to laugh at you, or you know, whatever it is. And so you're not taking action, and you're not taking the action that you need to be taking to move forward, or you come up with excuses as far as like getting stuck in your everyday activities and never having the time to put towards your business. And really that just comes back to that self-doubt as well, because it's telling you, if you knew for sure, you can think about it this way. If like I knew for sure that I could make my business work and I could get my clients amazing results, and I knew all this for sure, and I felt certain in that, like, there would be no reason to not take action. There would be no reason to you know, hide or doubt yourself or whatever. So you can start to think about that way, like, what would I do if I didn't have any fear? Because really, let me see what you're saying, Lauren. Yeah, so Lauren's saying, like, if someone doesn't want to put in the time or money to make changes, we can't take that personally. And that's absolutely, like, we're not meant to work with everyone, right? So if someone isn't willing to put in the time or energy, that has nothing to do with us. It has to do with them not being ready to make the transformation. So that's the big thing too. Like, when it comes to selling, which we all do as coaches, like, it's part of what we do. It's not to take things personally, and to know that you're not meant to work with everyone. So if someone says no, or they're not ready, it has nothing to do with you. It has all to do with them and their readiness and their willingness to do what it takes. So that's a big thing too. Like, it's going to be expected that when you're starting your business, that you're going to run into roadblocks, that you're going to do calls and get lots of no's. I mean, I still do calls and get no's, like, all the time. Like, it's just part of the process. Like, you have to be willing to not take these things personally or let them stop you, because it's really just part of the process. And if you didn't feel any fear, and if you didn't feel any doubt at all, it means that you're just staying in your safety zone. You're staying in your little bubble, and you're not trying anything new. Really, that's what it means. So I always think of, like, if I feel a little uncomfortable, or if I'm feeling that fear, it's like a good thing, because it means I'm expanding and I'm trying new things and I'm pushing my limits, as opposed to just living a life where I'm like in my little bubble and I never fear anything, because I just know, like, every day is going to be exactly the same. I know what to expect. Like, I'm never going to have any challenges. You know what I mean? Like, some of us think like that's what we want, but is that really what you want? Like, do you want to go through your life like that? Like, I think for a lot of us, like, that would be so boring and unfulfilling. And so once again, it goes back to like that shifting that perspective, that like these challenges can actually be a good thing, because we're changing, we're transforming through them, and we're learning, and we're getting out in the world in a bigger way to make the impact that we're really meant to make. So all of it goes back to like just shifting that perspective. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you find this coming up in any big ways in your business, like, that I can address for you. Dixie, yeah, like, it's a really powerful mindset shift. Let me just I had a little list, so I just want to see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. Some other things that I think are helpful. So, okay, a few other things that I think are really helpful. So I had so many things I want to talk about. One is taking things just one step at a time. Because when we look at the whole picture, like if we're like, I want to start my business, and we look at like everything at once, it's going to be so overwhelming. It's just going to like shut you down, right? So we have to remember that anything that we do, it's really just one step at a time. And this goes back to also like being in the present moment. So whenever we're in the present moment and we're focused on whatever it is that we're doing, that then we're not in a space of worrying, because worrying is always looking at something that's happened in the past or something that may happen in the future. And we're thinking about that. Like, what if that happens? What if that happens? And so if we're always in the present moment and focused on whatever it is that is in front of us and that we're doing right now, there's really no space to be worrying and to be in self-doubt and to be in fear, because in this moment, everything is okay. Always. Like we're okay in this moment. So that is something that's really helpful too. So if you find yourself like getting on all these, getting distracted and all these tangents and, kind of feel like your mind is like all over the place, just always bring it back to the present moment. That's why meditation is a good a good activity, or a good practice, I should say, because it's all about, staying in that present moment and not getting caught up in our crazy train of thoughts. The other thing that I want to tell you guys is that your self-doubt is not going to go away by you sitting and waiting for it to go away. It really only goes away. It doesn't go away. Like your self-doubt never goes away. So I want to say like, this isn't about getting rid of your self-doubt. Like it's a human emotion, right? Or a human experience. Like it just is, but not allowing it to stop you. So how to not let it stop you is by taking action and by continuing to do that. And we start to see that these things that we really feared, or these doubts, like aren't necessarily true, or they don't have to stop us. So, but we can't sit there and wait for our self-doubt to go away or for our confidence to grow. That doesn't happen. It only happens by taking action and actually doing the things that bring up the self-doubt or bring up the fear. So it's really an active process. So I think that's an important thing too, because a lot of people sit and they wait and they're like, I'm going to wait until I feel ready to start my business. I'm going to wait until I know more. I'm going to wait until this happens, that happens, whatever. Like we can have endless excuses. Like now isn't a good time because my kids are in school or they're out of school, or, I don't have enough money right now. Like we could come up with endless excuses as to why we need to wait. And so if we really want to feel confident, that happens through taking action. The other thing I would say is to get support. So, I'm almost always working with a coach myself to help with business stuff, and a lot of times like with personal stuff too. Like I absolutely believe in the power of coaching, which is why I'm so passionate about it. But I think getting support and feedback and accountability is really, really essential to helping us with these beliefs and the self-doubt that can really stop us, because a lot of times we're not seeing it clearly, and we might not be able to really dive into it without the help of someone else to kind of dig into it and see what's really going on. Because a lot of times what happens, like with my clients, is I see that they're getting stuck in certain places in their business, and when we dive under the surface and look at what's actually going around, it's usually beliefs, self-doubt beliefs, like, disbelief, I guess I would say, that is actually the real reason that things aren't moving forward or why people aren't getting the results. So, really, I think getting that support is super, super important. And not just being like, oh, I have to figure it all out on my own. Because once again, too, like, then like step by step what to be doing as well, as opposed to like the whole picture, which is overwhelming. So, is that making sense to you guys? And do you have any questions? And is there anywhere in particular that self-doubt is popping up for you, or like beliefs or fears or anything that you have that you want to go through it all? Because I'm happy to kind of help you dive into it a little bit, because I think it can be helpful. One other thing that I wanted to add in is really like the importance of being you and being authentic, because I often feel too, like for me, that I got a lot more caught in self-doubt when I felt like I was trying to be someone else, or trying to like fit into this role, or trying to be like that person, you know, in my business. I like, you know how it is, like you look around and you can see what everyone else is doing because we're online and whatever, and you might start like checking out people's websites and their Facebook, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and you start comparing yourself to everyone and feeling like you need to be like this person because it looks like they're being successful even though you have no idea. So that can kind of be like this rabbit hole that we can fall down as well. But if you just be you and believe in you and know that like you're here and meant to be you and meant to be serving people and helping people as you, like you don't need to change yourself in any way. If anything, you just want to be more you, and the right people will be drawn to you. So I think like that's important as well. Amy saying that makes a lot of sense. It does. Like you are all, you know, perfect the way you are. Like it's, and so you can just be yourself. Like you don't need to fit into any certain mold or try to be like a certain type of person to be successful as a coach. Like it's really just be you, and you're going to stand out to the right people. So let me know if you guys have any questions. If not, or if you catch the replay, let me know you're watching the replay, and let me know if you have any questions as well. What I would love to invite you guys to do is, if you do find that you're really getting stuck in your business and you don't know what steps to take, and then you find yourself going down this rabbit hole of self-doubt, like who am I to start my business? You know, what do I have to offer? You know, what if I fail? Where do I get started? Like all these different things that can kind of get us into this cycle of self-doubt. I would invite you to sign up for a free call with me, and we can talk about these things, because I know that I can help you with them. Like I'm absolutely 100% confident. And so I would say, instead of like staying stuck in this cycle of not moving forward, like let's just hop on the phone and talk about it, see where you're getting stuck, and come up with a plan to get you moving forward. So what I'll do is I will put, actually, let me just add this right now. I'm going to put the link and you can sign up, and it will be in the comments. It should be pinned to the top if I can get it to. Maybe. Okay, maybe not. Well, it's in the comments below. So if you're interested in a call, let me know and we can hop on the phone. Because truly, like, one of the top things I'm able to help people do is work through these self-doubts and start feeling confident and see like how powerful what you have to offer is, where you're uniquely meant to be serving people. Because this makes all the difference as far as not getting stuck in that self-doubt and actually being able to move forward and get results in your business. And it's really about, you know, three things I would say. It's about making the income so that you can be doing your business, so that you can be having the freedom that you want in your life. Also so the income, and then making the impact. So we're doing this to serve other people, to do what we're meant to be doing, to step into our purpose, to be making a big impact on everyone around us or on the people that we're working with. And the biggest thing then too is freedom. So both of those things, like, we're able to do what we're meant to be doing, do fulfilling work, not be stuck in a job that makes us miserable, and make an income doing that too, which is like, there's a lot of freedom in that, right? Like, if we have the money to do what we want to be doing and we're doing work that we really love, like, there's that I think like that's a huge definition of freedom, and has given me a lot of freedom in my life as well. So that's what is possible for all of you guys. And it's really just, being able, not getting stopped by your self-doubt, and having a plan as far as being able to work through that. So if that is something you're interested in, like I said, click on the link, book a call with me. We'll talk about that. We'll come up with a plan to get you moving forward, get you attracting clients into your business, building up your tribe, making the money that you want to be making in your business, so that you can finally move forward with things. And it's absolutely 100% possible. So, do you guys have any questions? Hey, Donna. Glad you enjoy the videos. Like I said, if you have any questions about that, let me know. I know self-doubt is huge. It comes up for all of us. So like I said before, like be patient with it. Know that it's perfectly okay. And also that it doesn't have to stop you, right? Like it's just there, but it doesn't have to stop you. So, all right, guys, thank you everyone who joined me. I love connecting with all of you guys, and I will talk to all you guys soon. Bye.